The film begins in a Gainesville, Florida courtroom, where a child molestation case is underway. Barbara, a high school student, testifies against her math teacher, Lloyd Geddes, recounting how he asked her to stay after class and then molested her. As she delivers her harrowing account, defense attorney Kevin Lomax notices something disturbing. Geddes is visibly aroused by Barbara's testimony, touching himself inappropriately. This revelation sickens Kevin, finally confirming his client's guilt. After Barbara's testimony, the judge calls for the defense's case, but a shaken Kevin requests a recess. The judge grants a 15-minute adjournment, during which Kevin confronts Geddes about his repulsive behavior. He then storms into the bathroom, consumed by rage, not at his client's depravity, but at the prospect of his first career loss. His anger intensifies when Larry, a local reporter, enters the bathroom and taunts him. Fueled by Larry's mockery, Kevin becomes even more determined to win, regardless of the cost. When the hearing resumes, Kevin aggressively cross-examines Barbara, attacking her character and credibility. He successfully manipulates the narrative, portraying Barbara as a vengeful student seeking retribution for Geddes' strict teaching methods. Barbara's confidence crumbles, and Geddes is acquitted. Later, Kevin celebrates his victory with his wife, Mary Ann, and friends at a bar. Amidst the revelry and sensual dancing, Kevin is approached by a representative from the prestigious New York City law firm, Lehman and Heath. The representative offers Kevin a lucrative opportunity to assist with jury selection in New York, presenting him with a check on the spot. Initially suspecting a bluff, Kevin quickly accepts the offer. The next day, Kevin visits his devoutly religious mother, Alice, at church. Alice, a strong-willed woman who raised Kevin single-handedly, expresses reservations about New York, believing it to be a corrupting influence. However, she respects her son's decision. A few days later, Kevin and Mary Ann fly to New York, enjoying the first-class travel and luxurious hotel accommodations provided by the firm. They are captivated by the city's energy and opulence. Kevin's instincts prove invaluable during jury selection for Lehman and Heath's case, resulting in another not guilty verdict. Back at the hotel, he shares the news with Mary Ann, and they celebrate the continuation of his winning streak. The next day, Kevin meets John Milton, the firm's charismatic and imposing head, in his opulent circular office. John grills Kevin about the Geddes case, but Kevin responds with unwavering honesty, earning John's respect. Taking Kevin to his terrace overlooking the stunning New York City skyline, John offers him a powerful position with a substantial salary. Thrilled, Kevin accepts. He and Mary Ann relocate to Manhattan, moving into a beautiful apartment in the heart of the city. They receive a tour from their neighbors, Lehman and his wife, Jackie, who also reside in the building. Kevin begins his new job, formally introduced to the staff and immediately assigned to defend a man named Moyes in a health code violation case. He becomes increasingly consumed by his work, neglecting Mary Ann, who occupies herself by painting their apartment. Growing bored and restless, she befriends Jackie. Meanwhile, after dedicating long hours to the case, Kevin secures a victory, impressing Milton, who publicly praises him. Milton invites Kevin and Mary Ann to an exclusive party hosted by an influential figure. Mary Ann feels uneasy about attending a social event filled with strangers, but Kevin promises to stay by her side. However, at the party, he's drawn away by colleagues, leaving Mary Ann isolated amongst the other lawyers' wives. Sensing her discomfort, John seizes the opportunity to engage her, expressing interest in her hairstyle and suggesting she get it cut. Meanwhile, Kevin finds himself drawn to his attractive colleague, Christabella, and joins her on the terrace for a conversation. Inside, Mary Ann grows increasingly anxious, searching for Kevin. He, however, is summoned to John's office along with Lehman and Eddie, the firm's managing director. John reveals that their longtime client, billionaire Alex Cullen, is charged with murdering his wife, stepson, and a maid. Eddie, who has previously worked with Cullen, is displeased when John assigns the case to Kevin. Kevin stays late at the office, immersing himself in the case details. returning home to a furious Marianne, upset by his neglect. The following day, Alex, out on bail, confronts John, accusing him of not taking his case seriously. John reassures him, emphasizing Kevin's exceptional legal skills, despite being new to the city. Marianne gets a haircut and spends the day shopping with Jackie. While trying on dresses in a high-end boutique, Marianne experiences disturbing visions of Jackie transforming into a demonic entity. That night, Marianne confides in Kevin about her unsettling visions. He dismisses them as hallucinations brought on by the stress of their new environment and friendships. Distressed, Marianne breaks down, pleading with Kevin to return to Florida, emphasizing his lack of attention towards her. Recognizing her loneliness and pain, Kevin attempts to console her with passionate intimacy. As the triple murder trial looms, Kevin's long hours leave Marianne increasingly isolated and suspicious of an affair. Alice, visiting from Florida, encounters John upon arriving at their apartment and is immediately unnerved by his presence. So disturbed, she seeks medical attention and is advised to return home immediately. She urges Kevin to leave New York with Marianne, but he refuses. Concerned about Marianne's deteriorating mental state, Alice implores Kevin to take better care of her. Later that evening, John insists on taking a reluctant Kevin to a wrestling match. During the match, Marianne calls, pleading for Kevin to come home, but he dismisses her, citing his obligation to his boss. Alone in the apartment, Marianne's mental state unravels further. She suffers a disturbing nightmare about a baby playing with her surgically removed ovaries. Unable to sleep, she recounts the dream to Kevin upon his return, but he dismisses it as just a dream, further frustrating her. At work the next day, Kevin discovers that Alex Cullen was having an affair with his secretary, Melissa Black, and was with her on the day of the murders. Alex, ashamed, wants to keep the affair secret. The trial begins, and Kevin employs a risky strategy, portraying Alex as a morally corrupt individual and exposing his affair to the jury, suggesting he was unfaithful on the day of the murders. The next day, on his way to court, Kevin encounters a hostile Eddie, who has discovered Kevin's name listed as a part owner of the firm, a position Eddie coveted. He accuses Kevin of trying to usurp him and threatens to report the firm's illegal activities to the authorities. Kevin relays Eddie's threat to John, who promptly orders his assistant to deal with the situation. In a shocking turn of events, Eddie is brutally murdered in a park by three menacing figures with a demonic appearance. Meanwhile, Kevin prepares Melissa for her testimony. She claims to have had an affair with Alex, potentially bolstering their case. However, during questioning, Kevin realizes Melissa is lying. He storms out, only to learn of Eddie's death. Before heading to court, Kevin confronts John, revealing that Alex lied and is likely guilty. Despite this, driven by his ambition, Kevin proceeds with the trial, putting Melissa on the stand and ultimately securing Alex's acquittal using her fabricated testimony. Immediately following the trial, Kevin is informed of Marianne's severe mental breakdown and her presence in a nearby church. Kevin rushes to the church, finding a distraught Marianne covered in a blanket. She tearfully claims John assaulted her that afternoon, which Kevin initially dismisses, believing John was with him in court. Marianne reveals her bruised and scratched body as proof, but a shocked Kevin attributes her injuries to self-harm, convinced she's having a breakdown. He commits her to a mental hospital, where she blames their troubles on the blood money earned from defending guilty clients and insists she's not insane, but Kevin remains unconvinced. At Eddie's funeral, Kevin experiences unsettling visions of Geddes and Alex, prompting him to leave abruptly. Outside, a Justice Department agent investigating John warns Kevin about the firm's corruption. Kevin dismisses him, but the agent reveals Geddes' arrest for the murder of a young girl found in his car. Before Kevin can react, the agent is fatally struck by a car. Inside the church, John dips his finger in holy water, which boils ominously as he smiles. A few days later, Kevin visits Marianne, but finds his mother and Marianne's case manager, Pam, there. Alice pulls Kevin aside to reveal the truth about his father, but he angrily rebuffs her, criticizing her timing. Inside, Marianne, experiencing a hallucination of Pam transforming into a demonic creature, attacks her with a mirror. Hearing the commotion, Kevin tries to enter the room, but Marianne has barricaded the door. Before he can break through, she fatally wounds herself with a shard of glass. Devastated, Kevin collapses in grief. Composed, he finally asks Alice to finish her story. She reveals a shocking truth. She met John in New York in 1966, and Kevin is the product of their affair. She begs Kevin to return to Florida, but he coldly refuses. He confronts John, who readily admits to assaulting Marianne. In a chilling twist, John reveals his true identity: Satan. Kevin realizes Marianne knew this all along, hence the assault. He blames John for everything, but John counters that Kevin's ambition led him down this path. John declares vanity his favorite sin and introduces Kevin to Christabella, revealing she's Kevin's half-sister. John proposes that they take over the firm and conceive a child, the Antichrist. Kevin initially feigns agreement, then grabs a nearby gun, Alex's, used in the murders, and shoots himself. John, enraged, transforms into a demonic, angelic form resembling Kevin. The scene flashes back to the recess of Geddes' trial. Kevin returns to the courtroom, withdrawing from the case despite the risk of disbarment. When Marianne questions his actions, he replies he did the right thing. Outside, Larry offers Kevin a career-making interview. Initially hesitant, Kevin agrees after encouragement from Marianne. The film ends with Larry transforming into John, declaring, "Vanity is definitely my favorite sin."